everybody. Welcome to 5 o'clock somewhere. We're live in Napa Valley. It's 5 o'clock in Tehran, actually. It's 5 o'clock a.m. And I know it's 6:30 here, but they actually have a thing where it's like a half hour off, and I checked it.
That's a thing.
It's true.
I can't confirm it, but I feel like you might be right. I'm going to say yes. It's not 5 o'clock here.
It's not 5 o'clock here, but it is 5 o'clock somewhere. And we are so happy to have you here tonight. Now, don't forget, you can tweet us your questions to @TootSocial or @5 o'clock, and we will answer them live. So tonight, we have Johnny Mota is our co-host in the Toot Sweet Social Club. I'm Susan Quinn, and our guest tonight, I'm going to let you take it away, Johnny, and introduce.
Our guest tonight is world-famous artist Justin BUA, and very special because today is not only Leonardo da Vinci's birthday, it is International World Artist Day. So having a world-famous artist kind of fits the tie, and it just happened to work out that he was able to be here live in our studio, and we were very lucky to have him.
Yeah, welcome, Justin.
Welcome. Thank you for being on our show.
I know you've been working all day. I'm going to give you a little cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
End of the day work.
Because that's what we do at 5 o'clock somewhere and at Toot Sweet Social Club. And what we're having here tonight is the To-Me Pinot Noir from Sonoma Coast. And it's a 2011, and we're very grateful for them to supply this for us for the whole month of April. And the To-Me and Silver Oak people are having a show in just about a week with the chef live from Silver Oak Vineyard here in the Napa Valley.
What day is that on?
That's going to be the 24th. It's a Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Cool.
I believe it's the 24th. Yeah. Anyway, go to the calendar, tootsweet.com, to check it out. You can join live on webcam and cook with the chef. So, thank you to me.
So, being an artist, I think we should talk a little bit about art, and we can go, because I know you have a few projects coming up that I'm very interested to kind of hear about and see where you're going to go beyond just the art of stuff. Let's just talk a little bit about the way I found you was you were at our neighbor's house next door, Artist Works, and you were filming for a new project, which other people will be able to do live and interact with, and that is essentially an art school, correct? An online art school where people can pay, I believe it's a monthly fee or something like that.
You can pay for every 3 months, for 6 months, and for the year.
Okay, and so let's talk a little about that. So it's here next door, and you've been here for a few days now filming a little bit about everything, correct?
Little bit of everything.
Wow.
To the point where maybe I'm a little loopy.
And you're the first artist they've had over there at Artist Works.
I mean, they have a lot of performing artists, but I'm the first visual artist that they had.
Yeah, first visual. And
I'm the best visual artist they've had.
Yeah.
Fun fact, best visual artist.
The only one.
Yeah. And so that's artistworks.com/BUA Art School. Is that right?
Something like that. You check out Artist Works.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm teaching just the best classes ever. Stuff that's really foundation stuff. So it's figure, it's portraits, it's landscape, it's still life, it's color, it's value, it's texture, it's tone, it's drapery.
Wow.
It's, color theory, it's light logic. It's really interesting, and I think it's the most comprehensive art school that I've ever seen online, and they definitely have the best UX technology. So it's really, really, really user-friendly. They really dialed into it, and they figured out. They've been doing it a long time. They've got 24 universities. Wow. So to be working with them is an honor and a pleasure, and they're just really dialed into it.
Yeah, that's great.
Now, we mentioned you could do that through Artworks, but I believe we can be able to go to your new website that you're in works of, or
my website is just Justin, JUSTIN, BUA.com, justinbua.com, but I'm working on a new website right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But for the art school, can we go to justinbua.com and sign up there?
You will definitely be able to go there or follow me on Instagram at Justin BUA. Okay. And I'm always posting new stuff that's going on.
Cool. Let's talk a little bit. You said a new website. What's going on with the new? What is it, or what do you got?
Old website just feels old.
An updated version.
Version.
Okay, I thought you meant like a new project for a new website, like a side thing, or.
No, it's time for a facelift.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Time for a web flip.
Cool.
And so a lot of your art, I see. I mean, not all of it. a lot of it is like very like musical oriented, and I've seen some of the classic ones like we had on the web earlier.
I think we can pull some of it up.
Yeah, so
right
this actually in my friend's in our little turntable lab. This is posted above one of the sections of our turntable, as we like to call it, the kit, and good inspiration. And one of the most ones I've ever seen was the DJ, and not DJ Qbert, but far before that was like the DJ just in his room mixing, and yeah, that one. And that's one of the first ones I ever seen. I was probably just down on Haight Street somewhere, and I saw that. I'm like, who is that? And I just started seeing prints of this everywhere, and it just blew up one day. And this was a few years ago, I think, and just really like I was like, wow, like amazed by it. But going back to Qbert, you did a painting on him in your book, Legends of Hip Hop. You know, like Biggie Smalls, Tupac, and a lot of those people. And correct me if I'm wrong, he got you into Artist Works, or
he did, yeah,
or brought it up to you, or something like that. Because he was also one of the artists that has his school through Artist Works as well, correct?
Yeah. He told me that you should do your art there. That'd be really cool, and kind of linked us up. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then he was like, I don't know, because I'm really high. And I was like, well, stop smoking weed and figure it out. And he was like, I can't. Where am I? And that's why I painted him with alien spaceships.
I was going to ask you about that, because, you know, like a lot of his, like, records and stuff, and I've met him, hung out at the Octagon and stuff at his house, and he's, like, really into robots and, like, the space stuff, and, like, his movie, Witchers, is, like, really space age and, like, robots and stuff. Have you seen that?
I tried, yeah.
You tried? No, I got a little bit, and it was just, I just didn't smoke enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you meet this guy?
You know, I have a mutual friend, Mr. Wiggles, who's one of my favorite poppers.
Okay.
And I was just telling him, I don't know, I was just talking with Wiggles, and I think that Qbert came up, and he's like, you should really link it to Qbert. He's really handsome. He has nice skin. I was like, wait, what is going on right now?
Those are my favorite qualities.
Yeah.
Also, it's not a woman. What?
Right, yeah, I was like, Qbert? Yeah. So, no, he was just like, I mean, I had mad with him as a DJ, and obviously me growing up in the culture, and I always wanted to meet him. And so I think I just, I cold called him. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Or he cold called me. I'm not sure. But either
Let's
way.
Just say he cold called you. He was like, I heard about you were trying to meet me, and I just wanted to call you.
Yeah, it was something like that, though.
That's how it went down.
Not too far from the truth. And it was cool. It was really cool. He was a really down-to-earth guy. Really amazing guy. And he was like, you need to get in touch with Artist Works. So I did. And here I am, and now I'm on your couch.
Cool. Let's see. You also have a few new products. So aside from being in the scene in hip-hop and painting and work, a few people, or a lot of people, may not know that you are a vegan, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's new. I've only been vegan 17 years, but...
So it feels a little fresh.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Fresh. So
it's fresh.
Having said that, you have a few new products related to that, correct?
Absolutely.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I have a product with world-renowned raw food guru extraordinaire David Wolf, and David is a, you know David Wolf?
I've heard of him. Yeah.
He's got the QVC commercial. He's always doing the NutriBullet.
Yeah.
Which I love, by the way. And we created a product called the Mortal Machine, which is a superfood drink mix.
Okay.
That's all vegan, all raw, all organic, 100% organic, and just really the best ever. Because I kind of come from a very junk foodie background. Like I grew up on the lowest club. Yeah, mayonnaise, Wonder Bread, Campbell's soup, milk, just any kind of candy bar, McDonald's.
Yeah.
McDonald's was down my block. So for me, and one of the things that I loved as a kid that I never really lost a taste for was Nestle's Quick. So I was like always on the go, always on the run, and I was like, we need to develop a product that's a superfood drink mix that tastes like Nestle's Quick, but it's raw, vegan, organic.
Yeah.
Is that even possible? So, you know, the first couple of years wasn't possible. Went back and forth and finally dialed into the best ingredients ever, and really created something that's extremely healthy, but it tastes like a Nestle's Quick. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
So
crazy awesome is where I'm gonna go.
It's kind of like wine blending. You can come up with all these leather and tobacco and things, but there's no leather or tobacco in it. It just tastes like it, right?
And it's
a good thing.
It's a great thing, and it's delicious and it's nutritious. So we're in our second year, and it's done well.
That's Immortal
Machine.
Which is not out, right? Or is it out now, or?
Yeah, it's out now, totally.
Oh.
You can get it at longevitywarehouse.com, and it's just, you'll see. I mean, I'm addicted to it. I have it every day.
We have a show coming up about Monsanto and the whole GMO issue because, there's a lot of questions about, even people that, are saying that doesn't sound right, there's still some subtle questions about, can you label a GMO product if a plant, like how do you label a GMO seed? How do you know if it's got a GMO? So just some of those interesting, the pollen's traveling and infecting, so we're going to be talking about all of that with actually Dave Murphy, who is the founder and executive director of Food Democracy Now! And so he'll be on the show in a couple weeks as well, on Friday the 26th. But, you're talking about it, a lot of people are talking about it, and I think that the mainstream is starting to really pay attention about what we're putting into our bodies and how wise is it. And, I grew up like you, where the neighbors would come home from, work and have boxes of McDonald's and put them on dishes and put them on the table like
Here,
that's
we're eating
dinner.
this now.
Yeah, luckily my mom didn't do that, but I would go to a friend's house like, wow, I thought you just ate that in the car or something, like it's an emergency or something. But people still today, that's their main source of nutrition, and it's really,
right.
really, really scary for the obesity and.
I mean, everything's scary. It's so crazy what's going on. I mean, like, you go down aisles and aisles, even in Whole Foods, and you're talking about blends of soy, blends of corn, hybridized food. Everything is, like, supremely hybridized. GMO foods, now that Whole Foods is allowing Monsanto products into Whole Foods. So it's so nefarious. It's so deep. It's so dark if you get into it. You just have to stack the odds in your favor. People are wondering, like, well, I don't know how I got cancer, as if cancer just kind of jumped out of the bush when they attacked them.
What happened?
Yeah, like what happened? It's like, well, what do you eat? Well, I've been pretty good. I eat soy every day. And you're like, ooh, so it's just so crazy that you really have to take control of your own health.
Yeah.
You can't rely on anybody. You have to be Socratic about it, be thine own physician. And you can't really rely on anybody guiding you. So that's why I mostly just eat raw, and I mostly just eat from farmers markets, and I do shop at Whole Foods, and I do drink coffee, and I do drink alcohol. I try to stack the odds in my favor, though. Yeah. Like, I never eat soy. I never, there's some things I never do.
Soy.
I didn't either.
Soy is just genetically modified at this point. I mean, like Monsanto, dig into Monsanto owning the patent on soy. Try to get good quality organic non-GMO soy. It's not very regular that you just find that. It's not like a common thing. And the soy crop is actually used primarily for cattle. So they actually, and it's pretty voracious. It grows really well. So it's an easy crop to grow. So that's a whole other thing that is very dangerous, because it's like, and it also takes a tremendous amount of water to grow it, and then you take all that and it's just to raise, mostly to raise cattle. Yeah. So you just got to really be mindful of what you're putting in your body. Just think about, the flip side is that there are stuff like a mortal machine out there. There is, everyone's getting hip to kale. I've never heard more people talk about kale.
For that in the last year, like, just insane from all my friends, like, oh, kale's so good, and like,
it's like,
it used to be just a garnish thing that I had,
Right.
Yeah, and kale and blueberries are supposed to be the best foods you can eat to nourish your brain. We had the Tug McGraw Foundation, and they're doing great education for food for post-traumatic stress disorder patients coming back from war. And they said kale and blueberries. That sounds pretty good.
Oh, I have kale every day. And I used to think that it was like a really weird weed, and I was like, I don't want to eat a tree. I don't think I had kale until I was in my 30s or something.
And so do you eat it raw then?
Oh, I only eat it raw.
Yeah.
Kale is still in the cruciferous family. So it's still in the family of broccoli, cauliflower, artichoke. Those are actually flowers. So, but kale, I can only eat kale raw. like ever cooked, it just feels dead to me.
Yeah, it kind of.
It's just like but
into.
It's just wilted. It feels like wilted. But at the same time, broccoli. I don't like broccoli raw. I like it cooked. But I just try to do as much raw food as I can, but and stay clean.
Yeah.
And work out.
Speaking of that, I read somewhere that you said that veganism is the ultimate form of the hip hop expression of hip hop.
Yep.
Can you explain that? That's really a fascinating statement.
Well, I always feel like just growing up in the culture on the Upper West Side, what we like to call the Upper West Side of New York City, we had a philosophy that we were irreverent, we were subversive, we were against the grain, we were outside of the box. And I feel like that's, in a lot of ways, what really veganism is. It's like we're not subscribing to what people tell you. I mean, you're bombarded with commercials all the time. This is what you should eat. Even like, especially the FDA and all of that. This is what you should eat. This is how you should eat. Package it, like just shelf it, and then feed it to the masses. But hip hop was like, no, I'm not into that. I'm doing my own thing. I'm subscribing to my own ways. I have my own voice that's very unique, and I don't really want to be a part of what you're doing here. In fact, I'm gonna actually make my own lane.
Yeah.
And that's what veganism in a lot of ways is. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna grow my own food. I'm gonna just shop locally. I'm gonna eat only organically. I'm gonna take health into my own. I'm gonna take control of my health. So, and if you really even go back to like Afrika Bambaataa, who's really, in my opinion, the real father of the culture. Cool Herc's a father, but Africa's really the real father for me. He was really staunch about don't eat pork.
Right.
Be vegetarian, be vegan. So even the early tenets of the culture were like diet, keep healthy. You listen to Tupac. Watch what you eat. Think about what you put in
his lyrics, he's talking about think about what you put in your body.
And Dead Prez, they're all vegan. There's a lot of people. KRS-One, he's vegan. Bambaataa, there's a lot of people. Mr. Wiggles is vegan. Cubert's vegan. I mean, there's a lot of people in the culture already. Erykah Badu's vegan. Common. So you just see a lot of people who have dialed in, and it's a common thread of not only like philosophically aligned to diet, but a consciousness. How are you going to be conscious at all if you're eating crazy McDonald's burgers on white bread with a milkshake?
No.
You're just going to be in a fog because your entire body is processing preservatives, and really you're constantly fighting like an infection. That's how your body is dealing with a McDonald's meal. So if you're fighting an infection,
same with our livestock, if they're eating that kind of process,
And if you really want to get into the spiritual avenue of that, or the same with our livestock, if it's like you believe that emotionally you can be free from the karmic realm of that, that's a whole other subject. But that's the alignment of hip hop culture. It's like I'm going to not subscribe to that. I want to be dialed in, and you have to be dialed in when you're a b-boy. You have to be, because it's like it's so physical and stuff. Although we were b-boys eating McDonald's, but the point is
you were younger.
I was a lot younger.
Awesome.
She's like, point at that camera.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, hold on.
Shift pose.
So
strike a pose.
There's also you have some news about Russell Peters comedy, and you're working with him.
Oh, I just finished his tour. Did his tour painting for his world tour.
Yeah.
Notorious.
How was that?
It's awesome. He's amazing. He's funny. He owns my Run DMC piece.
Okay.
But he's a good guy. He's really cool. He's chill. He's respectful, and he's like legitimately funny. He was a fan of mine. I didn't know who he was because he's Canadian. In Canada, he's like the biggest thing in the world.
Oh.
And Asia and Europe.
And until Justin Bieber came along, is that true? Isn't he Canadian?
Was he Canadian?
Who's Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
Just got school.
Never heard of him. So did that, and just Russell's good people.
Going back to the vegan thing, you also have another product that is either coming out or is out.
Oh, the BUA bar.
The BUA bar, that's going to be the best ever. That is another thing that I was fixated on when I was a kid is Hershey's chocolate. I loved Hershey's chocolate, and so I wanted to make a bar that was creamy and tasty like Hershey's chocolate, because obviously I don't do dairy. But I always did like Hershey's chocolate, at least what I remember. So that I wouldn't say it's a chocolate bar, it's a candy bar. But I wanted to develop something that was like, what is the ultimate supreme organic raw vegan bar? So I developed the BUA bar.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, man, once again, my junk food tastes have dialed in to some seriously good tasting chocolate. Because I've had some raw food bars that are not good.
Yeah.
But here's the thing,
or they're good for a minute.
Or they're good for a minute,
like,
and then you're like, oh, I have a stomach ache.
Yeah.
But like my friend Sacred Steve, he has a bar called Sacred Chocolate. And that's actually really great raw chocolate. And I got so used to his chocolate, he's actually the person manufacturing my BUA bar, but I got so used to his chocolate that anytime I had cooked chocolate, I kind of felt like I was moving sideways. And when I had raw chocolate, I was kind of feeling high without the weird crash. So I got really addicted to raw chocolate. But there are other raw chocolates and chocolates out there that are just not the best ever.
So these ideas, or your products now, come from the cravings as a child. Like, these were really good flavors, although I'm not getting the really good effect from my body. And
it's terrible. Knowing you're getting poisoned.
Yeah, but knowing that, like, wanting that craving and like wanting that feeling and the taste, but coming from all pure good stuff and good for your body, that promotes health and well-being.
Well, also, just giving it to the kids, because like chocolate is one of the superfoods of the world. Chocolate has massive amounts of magnesium. It's got iron. It is the food of the gods. It's what the Aztecs used to use as currency. So, imagine actually giving kids like raw vegan organic chocolate instead of like garbage, dairy, whey, sugar, just like the worst crazy stuff ever, and just giving them like, stuff that is good for you.
Yeah.
And it's got a little sweetener in it. Yeah, it's got, it's chocolatey, but it's palatable. Why give them anything but the best ever?
Yeah.
Yeah. And where can we get that at?
Oh, you'll be able to get it on my website, justinbua.com. Also, thebuabar.com.
Ooh, it's got its own website.
That sounds fun.
The website
it sounds like there would
website.
be a DJ there.
I feel like there should be a DJ. It might as well just be Q, but I mean, he's vegan. He might as well promote it for you. Or you guys could be sharing one.
Yeah.
I would love to share a bar with Q.
How did you
Maybe
get
I could
into...
eat from one end and he could eat from the other.
It would be epic. That would be like a cool YouTube video. I don't know what's going to happen when you guys meet, but we'll have BUA.com. Go there.
BUA.com. Just BUA.com.
How did you start your career in art?
I always drew. My mom was an artist, my grandfather was an artist, and I was always drawing, and it was one of those things. I was a professional ping pong player, I was a professional break dancer, I was a professional, whatever. And I always kind of came back to painting and drawing. That was the one thing I stuck with.
Yeah, so you had it in the family, and they probably, paved the way a little bit for that.
Yeah. And my grandfather was like, it's a very hard career, I don't know. And
we're just going to add to the family kind of give you hard times about, you may want to search other realms for a career or...
Well, my mom did that when I was a philosophy major at Hampshire College for my first year, and she was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
like, no, you are just a moron.
You're
not
like,
what are you talking about? I want to study existentialism. I just finished reading Notes from the Underground with Dostoevsky, and she was like, no, you're really out of control right now.
She's like, no, you're going to paint, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm a critical thinker. She was like, you're an idiot. But I didn't understand because I was so young, and now I understand that I was an idiot.
And then getting in, I mean, obviously being in the scene, growing up hip-hop, and you can see it in your paintings and a lot of stuff. It's very influential on that style. Who would you say are your influences in art? I mean, not the actual characters or people, but who other artists influence you to paint or to draw, or that you would look up to. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of the graffiti artists in New York, like Futura and Scene, all those guys I really looked up to and I really loved them. But I've always been fascinated with the classical painters. Like Rembrandt's my favorite painter, and Monet and Degas and Manet, Daumier, a lot of people who are illustrators. Norman Rockwell actually is one of my favorite artists.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, Rockwell just he really captured the spirit of Americana culture.
You could feel what was happening in that picture.
Yeah. It's just so good. It's it makes me feel bad.
Story
it's so good.
Told right there. Yeah.
So beautiful. So gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, God, he's so brilliant. So just those kind of artists just really always kept me wow, how do you get to that level? How do you how do you do it? Like, it just was so magical to me. And still is, really, in a lot of ways, like, especially if you talk about Rembrandt or Rockwell. But I've always been attracted to emotional painters who had a feeling and depth to their work, as opposed to, I love Zorn and Sargent and a lot of artists, but it's the artists that actually speak to me emotionally that I can relate to. I really like this artist by the name of Ralph Steadman, who actually does do a lot of wine bottles.
Okay. Oh.
He did all of Hunter Thompson's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know his stuff. It's just like, he's just so emotional and he's crazy, and there's just so many great artists out there that, you know, most of my favorite artists are dead, but like, you know, Ralph Steadman, who's alive, and he's just fantastic. There's a lot of just people who are doing great stuff.
Yeah. What's the most challenging thing about your career, or to today?
You know, just really keeping time management is one thing, because I'm kind of split between a lot of things, but also just trying to know what the next steps are to take and elevate myself as an artist to another level.
And you give a lot back. You have a children's workshop, or you're doing a lot of teaching? And...
I do a lot of teaching. I don't do children's workshop. I mean, I actually did just do a children's workshop, actually. But
maybe that's what I thought.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I do stuff like that all the time. But, you know, I'm doing the online university. That's kind of where it is. I was a professor at USC for 12 years, and that was giving back and
philosophy.
Yeah, very
well,
much.
I was teaching philosophy, of course, and about chocolate.
Teaching
I was teaching classical figure drawing, and that's what I love to do. I love to teach. But the Artist Works University gives me a platform to teach to everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm not just like, doesn't have to be, a certain graphic. You know, USC is, you know, there's a lot of money there. So this is an opportunity to teach to everybody around the world.
Right. Now, kind of go back to my earlier question, asking about like who your artist influence are growing up to becoming who you are now and painting everything that we've seen. What would you say to the kids growing up nowadays that are looking up to you in that same aspect? You know, in years to come, to say, Justin BUA was a great painter, and influence, in hip hop and this style of painting, and just really emotional and depth in that scene. What would you say to them in hopes that I guess advice to become maybe that next level painter or artist, or to take their art to the next level with hopes and dreams?
Just to get better. Don't ever think you've arrived. Michelangelo was 81. He's going to just beginning to learn how to draw. So you just never really arrive, and people who feel like they've arrived are really, shooting themselves in the foot.
That's
because
when you
there's so
start
much.
to go like that.
I think that you got to do it. The money comes and goes, you got to do it because you love it. You got to do it because it's what you want to do, and you really need to express yourself. And I think we all do, whether it's visually or in other avenues. But I think the greatness will bubble out if you tend to it. You can't let a garden go astray. You can't not water it and not take care of it. It'll die. So you have to cultivate your abilities and really know your weaknesses. Know like, well, I'm not really great here. I'm good here. So I need to work on that to develop myself. So it's a never-ending process. Be an eternal student. I think that would be the answer.
Yeah.
I'm an eternal student still. I still study with great people. I always look to people, and the masters are out there always to be teachers. So it really never ends.
That was a way better answer than I expected. I honestly expected a motor machine in the morning, BUA bar later in the afternoon, and then just paint.
But, that's my actual day, but that's not my philosophy. That's what I do.
DJ Shadow has this quote in like one of his record or songs. He's a teacher, but he's also a student.
Yeah,
so it's just the eternal of just learning and wanting to love what you do and keep going.
Hubert taught him, right?
What's that?
I think Hubert.
I'm not sure if he did or not. It's possible.
Okay. I think he did.
So a little bird told me, possibly your assistant, that you want to do your own kind of like maybe get into podcasting or web shows or something like that. And
that'd be nice, down the road. I'm just doing a lot of stuff. But would
it be art related or just a whole nother
tangent? It would have to be art related.
Yeah,
it would be crazy, but art related.
Crazy art.
Crazy art.
Crazy awesome art.
Crazy awesome, silly, crazy, wild, and funky art.
That's
that
great.
one. That one indeed.
There's the title.
Remember it. Boo.com. Do you have any other questions on the card there? I know we kind of.
I had some. I am not don't have a lot of history with this, but I noticed that you have the book with portraits of Biggie and Tupac, and I was just wondering if you had any stories or insights into what generated that project for you,
or like interactions with them personally.
Well, I've always been fascinated by hip hop culture because I grew up in the epicenter of it in New York City during the birth of the culture, and I was a professional b-boy for many years, and so this was just part of my world, and I feel like much like Goya, Velázquez, whoever, Rembrandt painted the important people of the time, the aristocracy, the nobility. Yeah. I wanted to do something to pay homage to the important people of my time, and those people were people in the hip hop culture, and they weren't just Biggie and Tupac. They were b-boys. They were graffiti writers.
Yeah.
They were DJs like Qbert and Grandmaster Flash. So yes, did I paint Eminem and Jay-Z? Absolutely, because I wanted to sell books. No kidding. Because
Boo.com.
Boo.com. So because I feel like they're amazing, but at the same time I felt like it was really no one had done that, and I wanted to do that. It was just really important for me. So to be chronicled in an art historical context for me is powerful because I learned history through art history, and art history reflects the social and political climate of the time, and so I would hope that this would shine a light, even a little one, on a culture that I love so much.
Absolutely.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah,
so,
I love it.
You are
also a pretty big fan of MMA, is that correct?
Oh yeah,
or
big fan.
Who's your favorite fighter?
My favorite fighter, Anderson Silva, John Jones are going to be the typical answer, but they're not actually my favorite fighter. I think Anderson Silva is the greatest fighter in the world ever. Okay. Maybe might put him past Ali with what he's done. He's weird. It's weird.
You had to explain to me what MMA is, and so for our audience, maybe you should.
Mixed martial arts, but it's beyond. It's not just MMA. You're into the Ultimate Fighting, right? Or is it specifically?
Ultimate Fighter is just a league.
The league, or Sure. I meant that mixed martial arts, and then there's grappling and all that. So it's essentially
right. MMA is just all the arts come together. Yeah. Okay. So I did jiu-jitsu many years ago, kickboxing. I've done it. I've done a couple things.
And is that where the intrigue came from, or just?
No, I've just been fascinated by it. It's the largest growing sport in the world. It's so global right now. It's crazy. But Nick Diaz is my favorite fighter.
Okay.
Not even a question. And he's vegan.
There you go.
And so is Jake Shields and Nate Diaz and a lot of people.
I think everyone is just going vegan, and that's the key there, right?
Yeah, you guys are vegan after this.
I did.
I tried
I'm close. I love vegetables, but I do eat meat. But I eat my vegetables first.
You're happy.
But
I do not eat processed or fast food.
It's a big thing.
Never fed my kids that stuff either. So
my daughter's born and raised vegan, and she's mostly raw, and she's never been sick.
Yeah, wow. Well, I like the raw thing. I
was raw for 2 years. I actually never felt better. I'm so bad about keeping raw, but I swear to God, that's the key.
Mm-hmm.
You should Google this beautiful black woman who's in her 70s. She's a raw foodist. I thought she was in her 30s. She's in her 70s. It was actually, she only eats from her garden, and she only drinks rainwater that she collects.
Ooh.
So reclaimed spring or rainwater.
Yep.
Interesting.
Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds good. Like that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So
she looks incredible.
So being that you're going to be here for a few more days and just recording for the next few days, and once you get back, they got to edit all that stuff. So when can artists of the world expect to
June 18th.
June 18th is the launch date?
Launch date.
Okay.
June 18th. Anybody interested? Follow me on Instagram right now. Which camera? That one? Follow me at JUSTINBUA because I'm always posting new stuff there, and it's fun, and it's crazy, and it's wild, and if you love art, if you love drawing, if you love sex, if you love fighting, if you love chocolate.
If you love chocolate, free-range, vegan
bars. Yeah.
I don't know.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing's missing. If you like porn, whatever.
It's there.
If you like wine.
You might.
That's where you have to go.
But you're also on, I mean, Instagram is like the visual action, so art makes sense on Instagram, but you're also like on Twitter.
Facebook, I mean, I have way more fans. I have like 36,000 fans on Twitter, and I've only got 5,000 on Instagram. But I like Instagram personally because it's so visual, and so it's able for me to connect more, and there's more interaction for me. So, I mean, it's newer for me, obviously. I'm like not,
I think Instagram is just in the social media aspect that because it's so visual is the more interaction that you get than other aspects with more followers. It's just because you get that. Like, anytime you post on anywhere like with a picture, you get more interaction in general. So being the Instagram is just
message
right, and then there's just more of a following there because it's so big. I think as well with the visual. Any other messages you'd like to tell anyone else before we kind of dwindle off here?
No, I think I'm ready to dwindle. I'm about to pass out.
Not
Have you found any great restaurants for raw food here?
No way. This is the worst town I've ever been to for any kind of vegan and raw food ever in my life. I've been to the dirty South. I've been everywhere. This is actually the most dialed out town with respect to healthy organic foods.
We used to have Ubuntu. And that was a small restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, but they closed.
They were open like less than a month ago, weren't they?
No.
They were open during the film festival.
Well.
Or I don't know, maybe not. Not important.
I mean, look,
that was great.
And by the way, I eat at Aiko, the Japanese restaurant. I get my seaweed salad, my sunamono, my avocado rolls.
Yeah.
And
Aiko's great.
And I'm fine. I don't need I go to Firewood Pizza. By Whole Foods, the pizza place.
Yeah.
I just get pizza, no cheese, tomato, and a lot of basil, and it's fine.
All right.
And then I shop at Whole Foods, and I eat kale chips and all kinds of crazy stuff, and do my almond cappuccinos that I make at Artist Works, and I'm good. Drinking spring water, coconut water, raw harvest water is really good. Healthy Harvest. That's a good water. That's a good coconut water. That's an organic coconut water.
All right.
Healthy Harvest coconut water.
Healthy Harvest coconut water.
Yeah, get it at Whole Foods. It's really good, actually. It's different. It's a better quality.
Okay.
I wish it wasn't made in plastic, but it's really the best coconut water that I've had besides having coconut right from Hawaii.
Yep.
Will we ever expect to see your products in Whole Foods or anything like that?
Maybe. You never know.
Sponsors looking at you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the BUA bar is changing things, so you never know.
And both these, Immortal Machine and the BUA bar are both available today.
BUA bar is not available.
Not available yet.
Immortal Machine sold a ton last year on longevitywarehouse.com.
Okay.
And this year, it's going to quadruple what it sold last year. And we're talking about tens of thousands from one website. Like literally out of control.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, check out the infomercial with me and the legendary raw food guru, David Wolf.
Okay.
It's awesome. It's really that's a great product. BUA Bar is a great product. I mean, I'm not really looking to get into foods. It's one of those things that's I love it, so I did it.
Yeah.
It kind of happened.
Yeah, it happened organically. And I feel like if you're not feeling it, I'm not here to make, make $1 billion, but if I do, that's cool.
Yeah.
But, it's more like I'm here because I love it. And,
cool.
And that's the way that I live.
And it doesn't exist, and you need it, and you're creating a product you use yourself.
That's actually a good point. I never really thought about that. So I can borrow that as my marketing. But that's really true.
Absolutely.
It's like I've always wanted that. It didn't exist, and so I guess subconsciously I was like, I need that. Make it for myself. At least I could enjoy it.
You have a customer.
Yeah, I have one customer.
There's
my daughter.
The best customer.
Yeah.
The best customer.
Great.
So I think that's kind of a wrap, unless you have any other thing you want to say really quick, or other than follow you on Instagram, Justin BUA, all one word.
Yeah. Facebook.
JustinBUA.com.
Not MySpace. Haven't been on that in about 28 years, but
I didn't know they were still around.
yeah, they are.
Okay, well, not my
Yes,
space.
and
Not my space.
wonderful art, wonderful new program coming up on Artist Works.
And
excited to see it.
what's the official launch day one more time?
June 18th.
June 18th.
Artistworks.com. Check it out. JustinBUA.com. Instagram.
Yeah.
Dot
Those are the
something. It's just like,
GA.
it's going to be the best ever.
This is great. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining
Yeah,
us
thank
tonight.
you.
We're gonna have to go
Greatly
make sure
appreciate
you find some raw food tonight at a great restaurant somewhere.
It just doesn't exist, apparently.
I know.
I'm fine.
Good.
I'm doing great. I'm totally taken care of. I'm easy.
All
right,
right.
man.
Well, cool, man. Thank
so
you.
much,
We appreciate
Justin.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Johnny. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
And we will see you Wednesday night for Quintessa Winery live with Augustin Huneas, Charles Thomas, and Larry Stone logging in live from Manhattan. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I think we also have Andrea Robinson, the Master Som, coming to host that show. So we'll see you Wednesday night. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin,
Johnny.
very
Thank
much
you,
for being
Susan.
here. Very blessed and we would like to invite you to come back in the future if you're ever in town.
Sure.
If not, we could have you on the webcam. We'd love to
Perfect.
have you back.
Yeah,
Awesome.
let us know. Keep us in touch with what's going on.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you, guys.
you so much.
All right.
Good night,
Bye, everybody.
everybody.